meditation. I'm the Reverend Dr. William L. Johnson III, and it is my pleasure and joy to be back sharing these messages of encouragement and inspiration to you. It is a wonderful gift to be able to journey together and to know that we are supported by what we do for and with each other. And so it is my joy to be able to share these messages that I hope will inspire and encourage you along the way and remind you that you're valuable to life, to your family, to your community, and yes, even to those who may be coming in our future who may discover what you have done and how you've lived has made the difference in their lives and in the lives of so many. Well, today's morning meditation is entitled Loving, or let me say it again, Love at First Seeing. Love at First Seeing. The ability to, for some people, and sometimes to find love or to experience love is a gradual experience. We don't see as we should. We don't always see things as clearly initially, but what we discover along the way is over time, we start to pick up things that we've left behind or did not see at first. I don't know if you've had the experience of traveling and seeing things, but not really seeing them. So I'll begin with this wonderful story that I borrowed from Paulo Coelho as he shared in his book, The Alchemist, this wonderful story of wisdom. There was a young man, I may have told this story before, who was sent on a journey by his father to go and speak to and talk to the wisest man in the world. Well, as he made his journey, he arrived, and there was a huge throng of people wanting, like he, to talk to the wisest man, the wisest person in the world. And after he finally got his audience, or when he finally got his audience with the wise man who was there, the wise man wondered why he was there, and he wasn't sure. He said, "I want to know, a little bit about your wisdom, and I want to talk with you about it." And the wise man said, "Well, before you do that, I want you to do something for me." And so he had someone bring a tablespoon, and he poured oil in the tablespoon, and he says, "Now go and see what it is that's in this area, in my home, all these things that I have around. But while you do so, please, whatever you do, don't drop any of the oil off of the tablespoon." Well, sure enough, the young man followed his instructions, and he was so worried about spilling the oil that for 2 hours he walked around concentrating on the oil in the tablespoon. When he finally arrived and came back and had a more opportune time to talk with the wise man, the wisest man in the world, the wise man asked him, "Okay, well, uh, how did you like my home?" And he started identifying things within his home that were there. And the young man said, "I didn't see those, but I did bring the oil back on the tablespoon." He says, "Well, you didn't see all the other things that were in my home and all the things that were important to me?" He said, "No, I didn't see them." He said, "Well, I tell you what, go back and go look at those things." And sure enough, the young man did. And when he got to seeing all that he saw, he was amazed at what he was able to see. But when he returned, he came back. And when he came back, uh, he started just rambling on. "I saw this and I saw that, and I saw the beautiful, furniture, and I saw the paintings, and I saw all these other things that you have." And the older man, the wise man, said to him, "But what happened to the oil on the tablespoon? He had spilled it." And he said, "The balance of life is to be able to enjoy life, to see, but also to be able to enjoy it as you go, and to hold on to the things that are really important to you while you do so." Many of us find ourselves trying to strike that balance, and it's really difficult. How do I enjoy my life? How do I enjoy love? How do I enjoy the things that are important to me in life and still yet hold on to the things that matter the most? Well, loving before seeing, or loving at first sight, that's what I want to say, or loving at first seeing, is a little bit different than love at first sight. The concept of loving at first sight means that you would see something, love it just from looking at it, and fall in love with it. But for some of us, the love that we see shows up gradually, that we may not see it in the first time around, or the first conversations, or the first engagements, or the first encounters. But over time, when we look with clearer eyes, when we are not frustrated, when we're not worried, when we don't have the weight of the world on our shoulders, we see a little bit clearer. And so I wanted to share with you what's important for you and I as we journey, that you take some time to look around, to pay attention to the things that are happening in your life. Slow down just long enough so that you can appreciate what you're seeing. What I'm convinced of is that we have God sightings all around us, but we don't see where God is, nor do we see love actively moving in our lives because we're too busy, too actively engaged to actually notice what's really important. It's really interesting to me that there is a biblical story of Moses finally seeing God at the burning bush. It's really one of those popular stories from the biblical text, and we discover that Moses is on the backside of the mountains around in Midian while he's taking out the sheep of his father-in-law, caring for them as a shepherd. And at this particular day, he looks up and he notices a bush that is not burning. It's in the Exodus narrative. And he notices that it's burning rather, but it's not consumed. That it keeps on burning when it should burn up, it does not. And so he notices it after all this time of traveling around there, and he then starts to approach. My question for myself is, how long had that bush been burning? How many times had he passed that way? How many moments had he encountered and seen but not seen, been around it but not really noticed it? And for me, there are moments in my life, I don't know about you, that there are things that have been there the whole time that you never really noticed it. You never really noticed kindness. You never really noticed someone being generous. You never really noticed someone loving you and you loving them until you've taken time to slow down, lift up your head, and take a gander. Look around you and notice that what you've been looking for has been close enough to you all the time. That's what I want to say. When you really see, loving at first seeing does not mean your eyes have not had the ability to see it, but your soul has not seen it yet. And when your soul shows up for whatever you do in life, you'll discover you'll be seeing it almost for the first time. Yeah, that's the message I want to leave with us today. Love at first seeing. Take your time, focus your spiritual eyes so that you can see the blessings that are right within your reach. It may be in your career, it may be in your family, it may be you doing something that you've always loved to do but never thought you could. It may be just within your grasp and your reach. But until you see it, until you really see it, you'll never be able to embrace it. But once you do, it may change your entire life. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it will. Well, that's the morning meditation today. I wanted to make it short and I didn't want to go longer. I want to share with you why it's important for us to share these messages because you're important. It's important that you embrace who you are and are able to share the best you with the entire world because you're loved, you're appreciated, and you're irreplaceable. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great life. Let's journey together and support each other along the way. Thanks so much for giving us your time and giving us a chance to share with you today. Awesome time together.